Hey everybody, welcome to Hope Something Sticks. I'm Burt.
This one is Matt.
So before we get started on the episode, I'm going to make a little correction from last episode. Actually, it was all Antifa's fault, and Trump is not to blame at all.
All hail the leader.
No, but the one mistake we did put in was if Trump got impeached a second time, that would automatically mean that he would be ineligible to run again, and also they take away all his benefits. He would have to get convicted by a 2/3 Senate majority for that to happen. Now, it looks like they're going to try to do that after he leaves office, but I saw this article from a former judge that might not be constitutional to be able to take away all his stuff if he is tried and convicted after his term, because in the Constitution it says it's for a sitting president. So it'd probably be a big legal battle even if they did do that, and I don't know. There's a good chance they'd lose that battle anyway.
I don't mind if he has the security detail. I want him to live forever. So that he finally... Because that's how long it's going to take for him to learn anything. Moving on.
Yep, moving on. So, since nothing apocalyptic happened this week, now we can talk about Game of Thrones.
And the impending doom there.
Yeah.
Because we left off at
Fantasy
episode 4. Cripples, bastards, and broken things. Other things? Wow, didn't stick the landing.
Broken things and other things.
Oh my God. All right.
So, yep.
Can we just jump right to the hot wax?
Sure.
Hot wax.
At the very end. Oh, that hot wax.
Yes.
Yeah. So when Viserys is in Vaos Dothrak, the capital city, or the only city of the Dothraki, he's getting down with his whore, or Dany's whore,
Slave girl.
Dany's handmaiden. Yeah, slave, handmaiden, whore person.
Super whore. I think we discussed that in previous episodes.
Yeah, quite the super whore. So
she puts
hot
wax on him in a bath.
Yep. And he's not super against it. It's like,
Who would be against some hot wax? Alright, whatever. Anyway. Point is that this is the first of 6 of my super subtleties or Easter eggs throughout this episode that I truly like. It's the main reason that I like...
the fact that...
Yes, go ahead. Reveal it.
The fact that he can feel heat. Yes. He can be burned, as opposed to Dany, and he does, I think, like in the next episode or 2.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Fire shouldn't burn the dragon. And as Mr. Abuser likes to point out, I am the dragon. No, you're not. You can't even deal with some hot wax.
Let alone some hot molten gold.
Yeah, right? What a fucking dick.
Yeah.
Everybody should be elected by a crown of gold. Molten gold. Oh, look at this. Oh, we made it.
Probably get very few takers.
Yeah, who the hell would want elected office at that point? That's it. That's all I wanted to talk about.
Well, since this has only gone on for about 6 minutes, how about we talk about some other things?
Yeah, we can get going.
Alright, cool. So one character, might as well mention him since he's not coming back. Sir Hugh of the Vale.
The not so subtle part.
Yeah, the douchebag who spent all his screen time being a douchebag.
True.
And and when I saw, so, he was he was Lord John Aaron's squire, and after he died, he, just became a knight somehow, and got some new armor that he went to joust in the Hands tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I want to point out is how useless that little face bar was.
I know, right? That was what? You spent
just
all
covered
that
his
time,
nose.
spent all that time trying to protect, your main torso, and forgetting that sometimes the joust might slide northwards, towards the parts that will do the blood spurtage. Fast forward, and the mountain goes ahead and makes that blood spurtage happen for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty expertly done. He was able to get that gigantic piece of wood into his neck.
What a horrific scene. But that's what the people showed up for. Tits and gore.
Yeah.
That's on the not so
pretty
subtle
classic
part of my notes for this podcast.
Uh-huh. It's pretty great, Arya and Sansa's reaction to it. Like, Sansa was all, horrified, and Arya's like, whoa.
Oh, is that what happens?
That's cool.
This is what Syria was talking about. The water.
Yep. Oh, there's all the water.
You let the water out, and you die.
Yeah.
I gotta go to there.
I'll put that in my journal.
Yeah, you know that. Speaking of Arya, that's my number 2 on my list of subtleties or Easter eggs, and it's the scene that got me hooked on the entire series, and really made me want to explore it. I didn't start at episode 1. I don't really register that a show is anything until later, and I'll usually start things in the middle or the end, and I'll give it 5 minutes. And the 5 minutes that I gave Game of Thrones was Arya on the steps of the Red Keep, and she is balancing, reciting various lessons that Syrio says. Syrio says this, Syrio says that. Every pain is a lesson, and every lesson makes you better, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And then her pops shows up, Ned. And, he's like, oh, Syrio says, okay, got it. All right, whatever. And the only thing, and she's still balancing for the most part of the conversation, but she only puts her leg down to then address when whether or not her mother's coming back, whether or not the family's going to be reunited, whether or not their lives are going to go back to quote unquote normal. She gives that one.
Brands come to the.
Yeah, and she gives that one moment, and she gives it one question, and it's to me it's the last look back. Now that I'm looking at the entire series and I've seen everything already, this is the last look back that you get of her looking back at her old life. I'll give this one last look back. Give him one more chance to actually try to convince me of anything, and he just goes off on the regular shit no, this is your future. Your future is you become a wife, you go into a castle, and you pound out babies. That's you. You're the baby factory. And she says, "The fuck are you talking about?"
I'm the murder factory.
Yeah, this is
the opposite.
Yeah, I'm about to see some sweet, sweet blood action, and it's not the blood you're thinking of. It's gonna come out of, everywhere that you don't want it to. And she goes back to balancing, goes back to her lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene, without any context, was the scene that hooked me.
Mm. Yeah, it was a good scene.
I think that.
Yes,
where'd they go from there?
Well, right after that?
Yeah, maybe not right after.
Oh, you were asking yourself. Yeah. Then looking back, it's that Bran wanted to be a Kingsguard. He can't do that anymore. It's no, but maybe he'll be a landed lord or the king of all Westeros.
Poor Bran. Talk about somebody whose character development just got completely torpedoed by, nah, you gotta be this weird prophet guy.
Yeah. Had to burn out your brain.
What the fuck? I didn't know where the hell he was going, but then he hit puberty in the show, and it's like, alright, you about to ruin this shit? You about to ruin this for everybody, Bran? He didn't, but they tried real hard to make him do it. Real hard.
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of unfortunate, like, his whole purpose in the show, like, after, like, you know, everything that happens to him was just to tell him, I didn't know, defeat the Night King.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's... Yeah. It tapered off real hard for him. They focused intently.
I got to be the bait. He went all that way so he could be the bait, so that Arya could kill the Night King.
Right. Like...
Yeah, that was it. That's all he became, was bait.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a great wrap-up. To say the least.
Nah.
We can get into what we don't like about the final season, if you want to call it that, later.
Okay.
Based on this year's list of creative contributions from the major studios and everything else, that last season is going to get redone at some point because no one has any creativity left apparently, and everything from the 80s and 90s has to get redone, and I have to relive my childhood, which I'm not interested in at all. So anyway, let's get back to the show and Rob banging whores.
Who's banging whores?
Robert Baratheon.
Oh,
Sorry,
yes.
I said Rob, just his first name, like it's Ned's kid. No, we're not talking about him.
Yeah, no, it's like...
I'm talking about
like
the king, the guy who embodies what you think is supposed to be a king.
Yeah.
He's in his golden years right now, and he's just like, you know what? His golden years. You know, he's been doing this since the start. This is...
Yeah. It's pretty amazing he's not dead already.
Yeah, he had a good run. 17 straight years of banging hookers. It's like, damn, man.
Drinking wine.
Yeah, just getting lit, drinking wine, getting fat. And,
living the dream, man.
Yeah, right?
Hunting boars.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Jamie makes a joke about that, doesn't he?
Yeah, fucking boars and hunting whores. Or was it the other way around?
Was it the other way around? Jamie with his signature. Yes.
Yeah, no, it was pretty funny. Jamie had like the gall of being all pissy about Robert having him stand guard when he's banging all these hookers.
Yes.
When Jamie's banging his wife and fathered all the kids he thought was his.
Right.
It's like, oh, what an asshole. Yeah, he's the asshole.
Right, yeah.
I mean, he's a asshole, but...
That's my number 3 Easter egg, by the way, is the door scene when he reveals that to Yuri, Ned's main guard? For the purposes of this episode or the next episode, he's the main guy.
His main man.
He's his right-hand man. He's his bag man. He's the dude that does all the dirty work that Ned can't do himself, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so like Yuri's delivering a message. And he and Jamie get to talking and reminiscing. They recount World War stories. These guys are like one scene away from being friends, I swear.
Yeah.
And then Jamie has to go and say at the end of their little exchange, after Yuri's like, oh my god, we just fucking are we friends now? And then Jamie's like, no, I don't do your boss's job. That's my job is to stand here and listen to this. Which, of course, Rob is still, he's not necessarily banging right now, but it's definitely foreplay. And for some reason, he sends out hookers throughout the entire conversation to go get things, I guess, or they were
more hookers. I don't know.
Yeah, for real. Get more. I have to send 3 out to go get more. Doesn't matter. The mechanics of that don't make any
Each
sense.
of you get three other hookers and then come back.
Each of you go get 2 friends. Or I've set up a series of
It's a pyramid scheme of
scavenger
hookers.
hunt. You have to go find these things. Maybe it's all part of a game. I'm not sure. But then Jamie said, he goes off on Yuri, and Yuri's like, he doesn't. Yeah, Yuri's Yuri. He's your all day man. He doesn't give a shit. He gives a shit. He's hurt, but he's a dude. He's just gonna be like, okay, that's how it is. And then Jamie has this off glance, looking off into the distance, like, I did it again. That was a chance at a friend.
This is why I have no friends.
This is why I have no friends. It's because I keep saying shit like that. So that's my little, that's a nice recurring theme throughout the entirety of the show, really. Is that Jamie can't help himself. He is the only one who is, he stays true to character right up until a bunch of rocks fall on his head. Like, dude, all I want to do is bang my sister and not have friends or any of this other shit, even though I could really use a friend right now.
Really use a friend to tell me to stop banging my sister.
Even Brienne, even when he's banging Brienne for some reason.
Yeah.
He's probably still thinking of his sister.
But it's like, let me try this one, and it's not my sister. Not a fan. Going back.
And he tries having sex with Brienne. Like, oh my god, dude. Okay. Oh man. I hate saying it because Jamie's kind of a piece of shit, but what the fuck, Jamie? What the fuck?
Yeah. Alright, so a bit about Sansa. So besides seeing some dude die from the world's biggest splinter, she got a nice little story about the Hound and the Sir Gregor.
Yes. A little melted.
From Littlefinger. That when they're brothers, and the reason why the Hound's face is all fucked up is because when they were kids, Gregor found the Hound, which blanking on the Hound's actual name.
Gregor.
No, Gregor's the older brother.
Oh.
Sander.
There you go. I was spacing too. I'm like going through. I gotta do my alphabet trick every time I forget a name. A. B.
S.
That would have taken a while, sorry.
That's alright. What I try to do is I try to say or think about a bunch of things that are closely associated with that person, and then a lot of times I'll get the recall on what their actual name was.
Yeah, that's it. That's one way of doing it. I like that.
Yeah. So I just kept like repeating Clickling. It's like, oh, Sander. There we go.
Oh, it's Clegane?
Clegane, yeah.
Oh.
What do you think it was?
I keep hearing McLean.
No.
That's what fucks me
okay.
up. I keep thinking Die Hard. And my brain is just like triggering a million other things. Like, no. But my brain wants to go there because I love Die Hard so much.
There's no Mick anything in Game of Thrones.
I don't know. The Clane.
Yeah,
It's Clane
anyway.
at the end. There's no other Clane surname add-on in my brain.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Glacane.
Anyway, so then Sander gets his half his face melted. Gregor getting so pissed off at him for playing with his toys, he puts his face into the coals in their house, and just just holds his head there for a little while.
No doubt.
And then he says, "Oh, don't tell anyone, or Sandra will kill you."
This is also
Why'd
classic.
you tell me that, dick?
This is classic abuse right here. He is telling.
Yeah,
he is telling this.
shit out of him.
He is telling this to a 15-year-old girl.
13-year-old girl.
Oh, I'm sorry. In the books, that's right. Everything in the books,
I think
you gotta remember,
she's
is way younger.
I think she's 13 in the show too. Yeah, because she says she's like 14, like in a later season.
No shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, when she gets married to Tyrion, she says she's 14.
What? I didn't know that.
Yep.
When she gets married to Tyrion?
Yep.
Well, that's 4 seasons from now. 3 seasons from now.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yeah, I believe she's currently 13.
Good God, sir. Yeah, so anyway, so he's telling that to a 13-year-old girl.
Yep.
Yeah, what the hell is she supposed to think? Like, okay, and also, I want to bang your mom. Because that's Littlefinger's.
And you kind of.
And you guys look the same, so it's the same thing. That's where that leads.
Yeah. Oh, I can't bang your mom anymore. She's dead.
Right. Yeah.
I'll just bang you.
Can't have your. I mean. Yeah. Littlefinger's not a super deep character, but he does have an enormous breadth of accents. Apparently, according to Reddit, he's got.
Yeah.
He changes his accent almost mid-speech every single episode. So he jumps from Northern England to Scotland to Ireland to Wales to. I mean, he's all over the place because he's an American who doesn't know how to do any of the accents.
I thought he was Irish.
He is?
I think he is Irish. I think we had this discussion before.
Oops. It's worth mentioning again then. Mostly because I don't remember. For this minute and no other minutes. Anyway, recap.
So,
he doesn't know his accents.
Yeah. Apparently. And then I think the last thing with Sansa was when she was at the throne room with her Septa Mograine, I think. And worrying about if she only has daughters with Joffrey. Yeah. And then it becomes, having any kids with Joffrey would be a fucking nightmare. Or being around him anymore.
Yeah, right.
There's much worse things that she's going to be worried about very soon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She sees it. She knows what's up. Doesn't want anything to do with it. And, of course, here's the old hag who has to try to gloss things over and make everything all right and just kind of make it so that, just keep going. Just keep doing it. Just do this.
It's like, nobody hates you. Joffrey hates me. No.
No,
can't hate you.
that's not possible. I'm looking in my book right here. It doesn't say that that's part of the script. For fuck's sake.
Yeah, not the brightest person, I guess.
Well, I don't know if that's I don't think it's an intelligence thing. I think it's more of a... I mean, it's a 13-year-old girl. And every 13-year-old you talk to is going to have the same exact thoughts about anything in any circumstance or life. Because everybody goes through puberty, and puberty fucking sucks.
Mm.
And this old hag knows that. I'm making excuses for her because this old hag is my mother. Alright? Not that I'm a 13-year-old girl, but...
Not on the outside, anyway.
Hey, I didn't say that. What the fuck? Don't put words or thoughts in my brain, you dick.
Just kidding. But,
Really? This podcast is serious? It seemed pretty serious.
super serious.
We had like 6 episodes of totally serious shit going on. We couldn't stop talking about polling data for like 8 hours.
speaking of serious, when Tyrion showed up in Winterfell, he got a pretty serious welcome from Robb Stark.
Yeah, he was pretty.
So
He was pretty salty about the fact that his brother almost got murdered.
yeah, and he thinks that the Lannisters are responsible.
Well, they are. He's pretty right in those assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
But yeah, he said, "Oh, we love to have anyone from the Night Watch," which the Night Watch guy was there. It's like, oh, but not me. No, fuck you.
Oh, you're still here?
Then he gave them a kind of a blueprint to create a specialized saddle for Bran.
Right. Well, if I wanted to
Which I guess he
murder him,
just
why
drew
would I
up.
give him this?
Well, can't argue with your logic there. Welcome. I love you.
Spare me your falsehoods. I'm gonna go hang out in the whorehouse across the way anyway.
Like I was going to do.
Yeah.
This castle seems very bereft of horror, so not really my scene.
That is also one of my Easter eggs, by the way. Is Roz, R-O-S, the redhead, soon to be one of the best characters in this entire show. She's probably top 5 for me. Just because, is she the... I know she's not the only whore.
She seems like...
But she seems like the only hooker that anybody can talk about in Winterfell.
That is
Every
true.
single person in this episode, we got 3 major characters who talk about banging Roz. Or attempting to bang Roz.
Yeah,
We
she's
got-
not even in this episode.
She's not even in the episode. She's in previous episodes, if you're looking pretty closely, where she's banging Tyrion.
Yeah.
And in the next episode, Theon, she's a banging Theon. And in this episode, Jon Snow is recounting how he couldn't bang her because of his own deep-seated, his understandably deep-seated issues. I'll feel bad for him on that one. Dude.
Yeah. But before we get into that, remember when he was talking with Robb Stark, he was like, oh, well, you could use a lord's courtesy. Basically saying that it's a good idea to, be friendly to the other lords, for... You don't ever know what's going to happen in the future. And then, the next scene is a total dick to the heir apparent to the Iron Islands.
Yeah. And most of that is talking about Roz.
Yeah, and he's just trying to help him out. It's like, hey, ask for Raj, she's good.
I'll try not to wear her out.
Yeah. Instead of saying, it's like, listen, man, I already banged all the whores, including Roz, in the north. But thanks. Instead, he was just basically calling him a slave. And yeah.
True. He's really just stoking the fire right there. Can't help himself.
Yeah.
Also doesn't care. Whatever. Get out of my face.
Yeah. Even though the Iron Islands are pretty famous for attacking the Lannisters' lands on occasion and pissing off one of the Greyjoys, probably not the best thing to do.
No doubt.
Yeah, but then in the last season or the second to last season, apparently both of them remember that conversation very differently. And Tyrion's like, "No, you were the dick."
Yeah.
I'm glad you got your dick cut off. Because I totally was not the dick. You were.
Well, when you're trying to speak sense, to me this is like... It's quite analogous to today's times. Because Tyrion is sort of like is the liberal literally talking down. Because he's on horseback in the scene. Talking down to the person that wants to have a failed rebellion. And that is exactly part of the fame of the Greyjoys and the Iron Islands, is failed rebellions. So it's quite contemporaneous.
I guess. Well, I mean, there was only really one failed rebellion.
Well, there's the previous one, and then there's the other one that happens. And then there's the one that happens after that, kind of. Even though that's more of an alliance, not really a rebellion.
Yeah, well, when Master Lune mentioned it, he was just referring to that one rebellion.
Right,
early into Robert's reign.
Right.
But really before that, like, I don't know if you really call anything a rebellion. I mean, they were like raiding coasts every once in a while, but besides that, you know, they kind of had like a pretty big kingdom going on. They basically owned the Riverlands for a while.
What's a while?
Until the Targaryens came.
At least a generation?
What?
At least a generation?
What's it, at least a generation?
What's a while?
Oh, yeah, multiple generations.
Oh.
Like, it was like for a while. I want to say like 3-ish generations. I think it was like at least a few hundred years that they were in control of the Riverlands, and they were going to keep control of the Riverlands if the Targaryens didn't come, because they were spending all their time building up Harrenhal, that like gigantic castle,
right?
And they just finished it, and so if the Targaryens didn't come, they would like keep pushing and basically take over the Stormlands too.
Well, if they didn't waste all their resources on one place.
Yeah, I mean, I don't... They just didn't count on a dragon coming in and melting the whole castle.
I suppose. I guess that was really like we should have an entire episode dedicated to what the hell Harrenhal was. Because I'm sure he goes into much more detail about it in the books. Unless he doesn't.
It was... No, he goes into a lot of detail. It was supposed to be, the biggest, grandest castle that would be completely impenetrable and, basically siege-proof because it was just so big, and they'd have so many, supplies there.
Right, yeah.
Food and whatever. You couldn't keep an army there long enough, really, to starve them out, and you could keep an entire army in the castle. It was just so damn big.
Yeah.
Like each one of its I guess turrets, kind of like there were 5 towers in the castle, and each of them were the size of a pretty decent castle. So, and the guy who built it, Harren the Black, who's basically building it for his own ego, but he was planning after he finished it to basically just keep on conquering lands after that. So
then he got melted,
and him and his sons got melted, and his entire line got melted.
Right. So you're saying that he was a descendant of the Iron Islands?
Who, the Harren the Black?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. That's what he was the king of the Iron Men, and then the Iron Men took control of the Riverlands. So he was the king of the Islands and the Riverlands.
Gotcha.
So and then the Targaryens came and wiped him out, and then him and the River Lords basically beat the Ironborn back to the Iron Islands, and then they didn't have any kind of significant hold on the mainland after that.
You'd think after 300 years, the people that you've dominated would be kindred spirits or something.
No, because they were like total assholes.
I mean, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, like the River Lords turned on them like that, and
Wow.
the guy who turned on the fastest became the Lord Paramount, which is the Tullys,
No shit.
and he's like, "Fuck you!" I like this guy. This guy's my guy.
Oh man. Oof. Sorry, I'm seeing too many parallels with today in this first season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's pretty much all the descendants of the all the major lords were the ones who gave up to the Targaryens the fastest.
Weird.
Yeah, well,
So just to keep the metaphor or the analogy straight here, the Targaryens are the Bidens, and the Iron Islands are anybody who sports a MAGA hat. I have that about right?
I guess you could say that, yeah.
All right, cool. Moving on.
And McConnell is the Tullys.
Is he a Tully? Because the head of the
Either
Tully
him
house
or-
is pretty cool. I mean, he's an asshole. He's told a piece of shit to his son, his eldest son.
Which Tully are you talking about?
Oh, am I thinking of Tarly? I'm thinking of Tarly.
I think you're
Sorry.
totally thinking of Tully.
Sorry. Mea culpa, mea culpa. Tullys are the Stark.
No, Tullys are pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I get you. We never see this. We never see this Tully. Well, we do see him like when he's dead. We see his dead corpse.
Well, we see Hoster Tully's corpse in a little boat.
6 seasons later. Just go.
3 seasons later, yeah.
Is it 3 seasons?
Yeah, I think no, it's 2 seasons later.
Season 3, his ass gets burned up in the boat.
Yeah, because remember.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Remember
Yep,
who's
yep,
there?
Yep.
No, those people don't make it past season 3.
I get you. Yep. Mister can't hit the boat with
So,
the
yes.
arrow. He's in no dungeon for the rest of the fucking show. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. That was. I think that was episode 1 of season
Well, yeah,
3.
duh. What am I talking about? Yeah, she gets the news of him being dead, and she's a little bit after season 3.
Yeah, or maybe it was episode 2. Anyway, going way off of the episode we're talking about.
We are off the rails
Get
like
into-
nobody's business. We took the train and went back to the future with that shit.
Yeah.
We forgot to. I mean, we were supposed to talk about butt jokes and cannibalism in the same scene. I mean, that happens in this episode. Didn't even get to that, and we're already at the 50.
Take us there,
we're already
man.
at the 50-minute mark, or the 40-minute mark, wherever the hell we are.
We're at the 41 and 10 seconds.
So anyway, there's this ass joke that happens. And it has to deal with Jon Snow talking about almost banging Ross, the hot, big-titted redhead, who is apparently the queen of the whores in Winterfell.
I mean, yeah.
It's
You've seen her.
You only hear about the rich people talking about the best things, right? So that's Ross.
Yeah.
And, of course, who's Jon talking to? Sam, his best friend, apparently, because they're both outcasts. John's super good at his job, and Sam is incredibly terrible at his job. So they're naturally outcasts. Whatever. They're scrubbing some tables or something like that, and John's recounting how he can't have sex with Roz because John is a bastard and doesn't know who his mother is. and he's, gonna have sex. So I guess he's declaring his celibacy right then and there, because he's worried that he's just gonna give birth to another bastard. Not that he's gonna have sex with his mom, mind you. Which just has its own issues. He's worried that he's gonna give birth to another bastard who's gonna go through the same thing as him. And so Sam says, "Oh, so you didn't know where to put it?" Because at the beginning of this conversation, Sam's like, "Oh, I do not know where to put it." It's like, "No, I know where to put it, you dick." So there's your ass joke. And then in comes Mr. fucking Buzzkill.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
Hey, somebody having a good time in here?
I sensed someone having a good time in here.
Let me talk about cannibalism.
We're going to talk about cannibalism here, alright? You don't know cold. It's like, what? Connect those two things, please. So they have this long conversation. It's very dark. It's actually very good. It's an outstanding scene, really. And it gets really cold in the north. Just, think Donner Party. Alright. The Night's Watch went out, didn't realize that they needed cover, didn't get the cover. Donner Party. Cannibalism. Eating the horses was easy. You could fill in the blanks from there. And that's all in the same scene. It's a fantastic scene. It's a great episode. Mm-hmm. If you need to get hooked on Game of Thrones, this is the episode you watch. Because I'm at 4 of 6 Easter eggs, people. Who's counting? Me.
Yeah. Let's see. What else happened? See Gendry for the first time this episode.
Truly.
Yeah.
This is somebody who never really got developed terribly well.
No, but he did show up at the end.
Yeah, they just sort of...
It's like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, they just sort of drag his ass along, and it's like, whatever, dude. He helps because he's... I don't know, I guess they needed a dude next to Arya the entire season or something. Talk about a character that you think is going to end up being something, and then they do absolutely nothing with him. He's like the boot knife. He's like a boot knife. He shows up for like one scene, and it's like, okay, well, your boot knife was used. You can't use a boot knife in more than one scene. What is this? Like, is this a thing? Is this a special power? No, it's a boot knife. That's him. That's Gendry.
Yeah. Yeah, Davos should have just let him die.
They really should have just killed his ass, but they didn't, because he was actually a plot device several episodes later. Actually, his helmet is more of a plot device than he is, because it indicates who he is.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, sticking with the
plot device is plot device.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the conversation, it was funny. Gendry's attitude. It's like, oh, these fucking weirdos. It's like, why are all these high lords so interested in me? It's like, listen, man, if you want to talk prices here, just don't fucking jerk me around.
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh, 2 hands of the king are here to talk to me about I don't know what.
Yeah, how clueless do you have to be? I mean, he's got a... Yeah. I mean, he's an armorer. And he's a good one. And he's actually famous.
Yeah.
Even Thoros Amir brings him up later on. Several seasons later. That specific armorer.
Yeah.
So that's how good he is. So that means he's talked to not just these 2 uppity lords. He's talked to a lot of them, so he must know some of the bullshit. The day is long. Everybody bullshits.
Mm.
Did he not? How did he not see what was going on? That's what I'm getting at. Like, okay, what's up with this kid? You know, not anything, nothing, not even a little bit. I'm sure he figured it out real quick when his face was being held over some coals and he was getting questioned about the shit.
Yeah.
Like 2 episodes later. Oh, I really should have thought about this a little bit more. Sizzle, sizzle, crackle, crack. Sandor, what's your facial remedy cream?
Hate.
How do you know about that? Oops. Stab action. That didn't happen. It should have. That would have been that really would have torpedoed the entire series. A scene between that one armorer and Sandor Clegane. What a waste of time. Are we near the end of this thing? I think we're near the end.
Yeah.
Because I still got 2 Easter eggs left. And they're both in the same scene, so we don't have to jump around. And it's really my favorite scene of this entire episode, and probably one of the best scenes in the entire season.
Alright, take us there.
We are in the inn. And by inn, the inn, I mean the inn. This inn is used in every fucking season. We can get into that in later episodes. But anyway, it's on the side of the road, and apparently it's on the way to some damn place. It's on the King's Road for sure, yeah. This is a major crossroads. This inn is...
Yeah.
Oh, this inn.
It's like the nexus of all Westeros.
It must be, because there are many, many seasons and many episodes that take place here. There's already been at least... Yeah, Sansa's wolf, Direwolf, gets killed here. Anyway. We get the character intros of not only a recurring character who doesn't last too long, but he's in several episodes, and it's kind of in the background. He's the bard. He's the dude that does, he sings some songs here and there.
Yeah.
And he shows up. He's the first one. The major character that gets introduced is Bronn. And he gets introduced 3 sentences later. Mm-hmm. And it's right after Tyrion shows up at that inn. And when Tyrion shows up at this inn, the reason that the bard shows up is he just takes a seat next to Catelyn and her right-hand man, the man with
Roderick.
Roderick with the excellent sideburns leading into a beard, a style that really hasn't taken off like I thought it would. Think sideburns, long sideburns, tied into a very long goatee, very thin goatee, and a completely bald head. And of course, he insists that he'd rather be thrown down a well than listen to this bard. Everybody's really shitting on this bard. Nobody's got any good words for him. Tyrion shows up, and the bard's like, "Hey, you want to hear this song about your dad's conquest?" And Tyrion's like, "Nothing would ruin my dinner sooner." Okay, all right, I'm striking out here. I'm striking out, guys. And Tyrion's like, "Oh, you're full up, huh? Anybody? Tap, tap. Anybody could fix this." And Bronn is on it, like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, money. And Tyrion's like, "You like money?" Bronn's like, "I fucking love money." And these guys are like, "Are we best friends right now? We are so best friends."
You still got money, right?
Of course I got money. I know how to make friends. Jaime needs to figure out how this whole friendship thing works. That's how that works. These brothers have been apart for too long. So anyway, that's your little character intro, because Bronn basically destroys an entire fleet of ships later on, and he's one of the few characters that lives forever. So this is his major introduction. Episode 4, straight through to the end of the goddamn series. Spoilers. But also at the end of this episode, Tyrion is walking around. He introduces himself to Bronn. They have their little awesome moment. And, of course, he's standing right next to the table with Catelyn and the Bard and Roderick. And he's like, oh, what? Hello. Because earlier in the episode, he recognized that, Theon is not smart. And Tyrion is. And Tyrion's like, where is Catelyn Stark? She's not here, is she? And Theon gives some lame-ass excuse of why he couldn't see her. She's like, she's not here. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? So he's not surprised. He's surprised to see her, but he's not surprised to see her. And Catelyn says, well, I'm found out. Okie dokie, time to be bad. And she gets up and looks at all around her, because this inn is packed, as we noted. It's packed because there's about to be a tournament down south, the tournament where Hugh gets the old giant splinter in the neck. And there's tons of knights and tons of people and all the other support people. The inn, the dining room, is packed. And she gets up, looks around the room, and amazingly is able to point out and actually notice the various sigils on people's armor and people's accoutrement. Person by person, she points them out, relates to them, figures out what's going on, and says, are you still loyal to my father? They're like, of course, sure, why not? You're calling me out in public. Why wouldn't I agree? Like, yes. And here we lead to my last Easter egg, number 6, is the wedding invite. The wedding invite that gets snubbed. And maybe this is in the books, maybe it's not. Is Walter Frey. Because she notices the Twin Towers sigil of House Frey.
Mm-hmm.
And what's his face says, hey, what up? He's about to turn 90. He's having a new wife. It'd be nice if Hoster Tully, your dad, would show up. And of course, she's got other things on her mind. She's clearly gathering a bunch of people, and then accuses Tyrion of murder. Or attempted murder, anyway. And demands that they all help her bring him to justice in Winterfell. Back to Winterfell. And the end of the scene is, a bunch of sword pulling, which is just fantastic. But there's the wedding invite right in this episode. So in the books, that's my question to you. Is that wedding invite even mentioned in this scene?
Probably. It's been a long time since I read the first book, but that scene did happen basically how it went in the book, so yeah, I would assume so.
But is that the only invitation that they got, was some happenstance meeting? Seems kind of far-fetched.
Well, that she got, I guess, because, so kind of fast forward to Robb raising all his banners and then having to cross the Twins, which is the castle / bridge that the Freys live in. And when Catelyn is talking to Lord Frey, he mentions that her father didn't show up to his last 2 weddings.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make me assume that he didn't invite the Starks. It was probably just like a Riverlands kind of deal. So she wouldn't necessarily hear about the wedding, except that one point in time, which is not like an official invitation or anything. So yeah, but the fact that her dad didn't come to his weddings did kind of piss him off, which
right,
maybe had something to do with the steep price of crossing the bridge, which was Rob marrying one of his daughters.
Right.
Or granddaughters.
Right.
So
Yeah, steep price. Okay, guy. Yeah, some serious snubbage going on. That's all I had. That's the end of my Easter eggs. The swords get pulled. It's the end. It's very dramatic. What's gonna happen? Oh my god.
yeah. The only other thing I wanted to add was that great scene with it starts off with Sam Tarley. You know, he comes in, he can't fight at all, and Rast, the asshole, just starts wailing on him. And then when John finds out why Sam's here, is basically he had no choice. Either he comes or his dad's gonna kill him.
Right.
And then he's like, all right, nobody hurts Sam anymore. It's not his fault that he's here. And Rast is like, fuck you, I'm gonna kick the shit out of him.
Right.
And then they just, in the middle of the night, just put this rag around his mouth to keep him quiet.
Sure.
And had Ghost just growl at him. It's like, nobody touches Sam.
Right. Yeah. A little Full Metal.
He's like, ugh.
Yeah, some Full Metal Jacket action.
Totally.
I mean,
It's like he saw that movie.
in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would basically be, if it was the exact same thing, it would be Sam who
Right.
who would have had Ghost on top of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
Revisionist history.
Yeah. So they take it off his mouth. He's like, somebody shit in my pants.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty great. Yeah, that's about it. And we're pretty close to the hour mark.
I have nothing to add.
Yep. All right, I think we're good. All right, so everyone can write in at hopesomething.sticks@gmail.com, and we'll read your emails. You know, you have any questions, critiques, we'll answer/consider them. And yeah. So we'll continue on. I don't know. Maybe next week we'll do the next episode, or we'll do something else. We'll see.
Yeah, no doubt. If you email in.
Yeah, some suggestions. All right, everybody. Until next time.
Later, bait bags.